Hello, hello, hello. It must be Tuesday. Andrew's already in. He's fresh out the gate. It must be Tuesday, for I'm here and you are there. And it's that quiet moment. It's that quiet moment when there's no one around. It's all quiet. It's that moment. He said, it's all quiet. So, man, you just think, well, what should we talk about? What should we talk about? I mean, I don't know. I have no ideas. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Nothing. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Andrew says, respect to Roberta Flack. Okay. I've got nothing to add, really. Anyone got anything to add to that? No? No, I haven't. I haven't got anything to add to that. A bit puffed out, really. A bit puffed out. I was having a bit of a brisk walk. For a brisk walk it was tonight, so a little bit out of puff. Mind you, another year older. It was my birthday on Friday, last Friday. So I'm 54 now, so I'm still in Sniper's Alley. So I could literally peg it any moment. I could be doing a Roberta Flack any moment. So yeah, so not long to go. Not long to go. Another year older. Ugh. So yes, that's something to consider, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm much better than last week, because last week, in fact, it was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday's live stream, you probably didn't realise actually I was actually injured. I was actually injured. Yeah. And was you injured? Well, we went out on Tuesday. We went out, and I fell out. I had a senior moment. I fell over on an escalator. Can you believe it? I wasn't even 54 then, I was still 53. And I did myself a great injury. Yes, I did. And I managed to puncture my knee. Yeah, puncture my knee. It was quite an injury. I'm gonna show it to you, because it is the picture that I posted on my Facebook feed only to close personal friends. That's what I did to myself. I had an accident on an escalator. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? And I punctured my knee. You can still see it gushing. I was gushing, and yeah, I was a bit sore last week, but now I'm still sore, but I can now get up and down the stairs without walking like a crab, which is nice. All I can say is, now she's not here, is don't listen to your daughter when you're about to step on an escalator, because they distract you. They distract you, and you fall over. And it's funny, because when we got back home, I'm standing in the kitchen, and everyone said, "Oh, you should clean your knee up." I said, "Yeah, I'll do it in a minute. Wait for the kitchen to clear, and I need to get stuff out. I need to get the TCP out of the cupboard and everything." And I can suddenly feel something on my knee, and I look down, and Layla, the dog, is licking my knee like a lollipop, and she's really enjoying it. She's like, I said, "Stop it, you filthy beast! Stop it! That's me lifeblood. That's me claret." And then I turned to everyone and I said, "You do know, if I die alone with the dog, she's going to eat me inside out, because she's got the taste. She was savouring the flavour of my knee." So yeah, don't fall. That's the first fall I've had in over here. Let's see, nearly 2 years. So maybe 18 months. So it's last time I had a fall, like I said, I punctured my lung because I fell over the dog. That was fun. Hey. Anyway, Minor says, Darren, I've listened to your favourite album, Night Song. Can't wait to listen to the other Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and Michael Brook albums. They're not as good. They're not as good. Night Song's the peak. Night Songs is that's it. You've peaked. You should have listened to Must first, then Night Song, and that's it. Andrew says, happy birthday, thank you. What do you want for a present? A new knee? A new knee? It was really stupid. It was a really stupid accident. I keep telling myself what a stupid idiot I was. Because as I stepped onto the escalator, before we got on the escalator, let me paint a scene. We were heading out of the shopping centre, and I said to Verity, you alright? You good to go? You ready to get on the escalator? And she confirmed this, stepped on the escalator, and then as I was about to step on, she said something to me that caused me to lose my concentration and to signal to her and the missus not to get on the escalator. And in doing so, one of my feet were not quite on the step, and as I turned, I just fell in a heap. And then, to top it off, to my adoring audience, because there were people, I decided to be like Wile E. Coyote and run up the escalator because I knew I'd my knee up. I knew my knee was like, I could feel warmth. So I jump up, boing, and I go up the escalator like that, leaving Verity to go down the escalator, looking at me like that, going as if to say what was going on. I was really worried that my coat had got caught in the escalator. I was going to be like shredded, like Wile E. Coyote in Roadrunner. But that was last Tuesday, and I came on like a brave soldier and did the live stream in pain, and you didn't even notice. You didn't even notice, because that's how good I am. That's how good I am. But I've been hobbling around, but it's it's getting there. But the bruise hasn't come out yet, because I take a long time to bruise. Because I take ages to heal. I don't think you can still see. Can you see that? You see that mark from there to there? You see that? You see that? I don't know if you can make it out. You see that from there to there? See? Do you see that? I did that 5 years ago when I was cutting back the garden. It was the neighbour's blackberry. It shredded my arm, and it's never properly gone. And that's what caused me to give up gardening. I went, I'm not doing this anymore. And also the doctor did say, that was before I got the diabetes diagnosis. The doctor did say, no more gardening for you. It's like, yes, I'm so happy. No more gardening. Andrew said, did she say Stephen Wilson? She might as well have done. Owen said, apparently it has to be a Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii Blu-ray release. Announcement time. I'm open for a CD, vinyl as well. Only a boring old Blu-ray. Not a 4K Super Deluxe Blu-ray. Well, I mean, the version they put out a good few years back on DVD was a bit of a bastardised version. And then there was the version on the early years set, wasn't there? Wasn't there a version on that? Or did I dream it? No, I couldn't have dreamt it because I reviewed it. So it kind of makes sense that they're updating it. Again, that was put to film, so we might get hopefully it's a rescan and a nice 4K one with a good surroundy soundy mix would be lovely. Thank you very much. But yeah, we'll wait and see how much they can squeeze out of us. I can't imagine it will be I don't know, $14.99 or $12.99. I can imagine it's going to cost. It's going to cost a few shekels. It's going to cost a bit, isn't it? It's going to cost. I mean, I've heard murmurings of this. I'd heard murmurings, but it's like. But what we really want is a 4K version of The Wall, the movie. Bob Geldof. That's what we really want. Not that fake one that's on Amazon. I know there'll be people saying, "Oh, there's a version on Amazon." It's not real. It's not real. It's a fakey. So that would be that's what we really want. Payne's in, he says evening. Well, that's another Monday crossed off. Well, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday today, surely. Are you behind? Are you a day behind? Renee's in. The watermelon is present. And Minus says, my mistake. I listed tonight's on first, then must. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But must is more traditional. It's more your traditional Qawwali Pakistan music with a sprinkling of Michael Brook production. Night Song is more Michael Brook's project. And again, this was done at a time when digital editing was in its infancy, and he was cutting up vocal performances. And again, there's a great article where he was really, and he's spoken of it subsequently, where he was really worried because he was cutting up vocal samples from Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and worrying that he was creating like gibberish. He was using him more like an instrument and using his voice more like a tone palette, a soundboard. And again, when he played it back to Mr. Khan, he was like, "Oh, is this going to work?" And Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan was absolutely delighted. This is brilliant. This is a new thing. This is new. And yeah, so yeah, just don't expect it to be the same. It's different. The same but different, if that makes any sense. Harry's in. He says, evening, sir. Evening to you. We have our Resna Rockstar appearing. He's pushed all the groupies out of the door. He's locked the door. And he's settled down for an evening with us, just to calm down, just to get the pulse, let the pulse settle, let the blood subside. Because being a rock star in this day and age, it's exhausting. And Harry's exhausted. He does this to unwind. So there you go. And Payne says, I was technically correct, but temporarily out of sync. Gets pen across on Tuesday too. It's easy to get behind, isn't it? It's easy. You ever get those days where you think, I'm sure it's Thursday today, or did we do Wednesday? It can be a bit of a blur sometimes, and that is why we have highly regimented meal times. So we know what day of the week it is. You see, fish on Friday. You know that. Yes, that's how you know what day of the week it is. You don't forget. Regimental food. It marches in off the plate. Sausages by the left, march. I don't know what that was about. I really don't. So has anyone got anything to talk about? Because we're only 13 minutes in, and I've already. I'll have to move on to my movie review instead. I have a movie. Dog cam. No, she's not here. She's sodded off. She knows. She's really taken. She's really taken with the bed. We do have subsequent fake dog cam. Hello, I'm standing for Layla. And that's it, I'm afraid, because, like I said, Layla has better things to do with her time. Treats this place like a hotel. Renee asks, so you're a rock star, Harry Whiteley? Yeah, bona fide rock star. You don't get this. You don't get this anywhere else. You don't. Not now. Again, certain YouTubers would be interviewing the rock star, wouldn't they? And blowing smoke up their arse. No, here the rock star stays in the chat and lets me do all the talking. That's how it works here. This is how it works here. Yes, it works here. Minus says, I agree with you. Nothing Without You, Sonic 8 Power from Must is just a masterpiece. Yeah, it's a good album. But again, they're different. And as for Star Rise, that's a remix album, which again was a bit of a novelty at the time. I've never really enjoyed it. So, yeah. So that's that. Payne says, reminds me of the Spike Milligan story. Asked the cook what food was. He said, it's bean stew. I said, I don't care what it's been. What is it now? Hey, boom. Andrew says, we're all rock stars. Technically, no. Harry is our rock star. He can prove it. He's got gigs lined up. None of you have got gigs lined up. He has. Harry says, exactly. Stay in the chat. Leave the talking to the professional. Gob on a stick, yeah. Let the blithering idiot blither and show everyone he's an idiot. Yeah, cheers. But yeah. What was we talking about? Regimental food, wasn't it? I can't remember. But like I said, there could be a review. It could be a film review later on. I've got to talk quietly again because kids are back at school, so I've got to be quiet. Payne says, Beto has a video reminding people he plays guitar. If you or I did that, nobody'd care. Beto hasn't been in my suggestions for a couple of weeks. I think the last one was the Severance video about the music from the film, from the TV show Severance, and I'm like, it's like, it's all right. Has he got a music training course to flog, like all the other musician / guitar YouTubers out there? You know, and then they go and don't forget, here's my course that you can buy. See, this is where I'm going wrong. Maybe I should do the hard sell more. I haven't got a course because I've barely taught myself how to play. You know, I've just muddled through all this time. You know, I've just muddled through, and you know, and that's it. Muddled through. Non-musician. That's the, yeah. I should do a course on being a non-musician. Because there's two kinds. There are proper musicians, like Mr. Whiteley. He's a proper musician. No, seriously, he is. Go check his channel out. People that can actually play. And then there's the non-musicians, like myself, and Brian Eno. I'm not saying I'm like Brian Eno, but we occupy that other space, that experimental area where we hit the keys until things come out, or strings in my case. So yeah, I wish I could be a proper musician, but you know, like I say, I remember being years and years and years ago when I was at sixth form college, you see, and it's a strange story. Do you want to hear it? I don't know if I've told you this. Have I told you this one? Well, anyway, when I was at sixth form college, I had a reputation. Oh yeah, no, not like that. A reputation of being able to put words together, being a writer. I was like the writer in the school, and I was known for that. And two guys approached me and said, we're going to do a musical to open the new arts block in the college. And I went, oh, okay. And we want you to write the play aspect of it. We're going to do all the music. We want you to write the play. I went, okay. So I sat down. They told me what it was roughly about. So I went off and wrote it and delivered it to them. You know, how long it needed to be, gaps for the songs. You know, and didn't think anything of it, like you do, because I had my A-levels to think about. And then I read in the local newspaper that this play was going on, and that they'd written it, and I went, wait a minute, I'm sure I wrote it. I thought they just did the songs. Well, anyway, I'd taken total credit for it, and that was my first lesson as a writer. Writers always get fingered, not in a good way, up to the wrist, always. And so I actually sat down and I did the one thing I knew how to do, and that's write. I wrote a letter to the local paper and said, oh, that article you wrote, you misrepresented it. I actually wrote the play and they've just wrote the songs. So, you know, I'd like you to put a thing in for next week to say that, because like I'm the writer. Boy, that gave me into a lot of trouble with the college. Whew. I got pulled in. I got pulled in, and I was told we do not wash our dirty linen in public. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm the one that's been wronged here. I'm not the one saying that I wrote the songs and stole it from them. And I went, okay, you know, because I'm 17, 18. I don't care. I really don't care. I didn't care. I don't care now. I'm a bullshit bastard. And so, and they said, what can we do to make you happy? I said, well, I just want credit for it. Because I found out that this thing was happening. Like, it was literally happening in, I don't know, a fortnight. And they printed out the flyers, the programs. No mention of me. No mention of me at all. I was completely persona non grata. Story of my life. And I was like, wow, this is a bit rum. Well, anyway, before I knew what had happened, I'd somehow been press ganged into directing the bloody thing. I know nothing about directing plays. I knew nothing then, and I knew nothing now. And so I'm like given this job of directing, because no one could direct it. They didn't know what they were doing. And the drama teacher basically didn't want anything to do with these two guys. And so I got to direct this play, which was interesting. Where are you going with this, Darren? Where are you going with this? I don't know. I do know. I was going to talk about real musicians like Harry Whiteley. So anyway, performance comes round, and this is when I find out that my name's not even in the programme. So me and the missus, who was the girlfriend then, she was in a lesser position. We printed out a load of names of my name, and I stick them into the programme. A little bit of social justice there, boom, you know, because they really didn't care about my input. This was almost about an hour, 45-minute play, maybe 90 minutes. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It felt like 4 hours. And so anyway, the performances come round. I'm roped in to tell people to go on and go off and whatnot because I'm like the director. But backstage was the musicians pit. So this is where we're getting to. And I met a guy. There was this guy. He was a drummer. And he is called Matthew Skelton. Matthew Skelton, I think that's his name, then went on to be a top jazz drummer. This guy had the chops, right? He's sitting there and he's just like effortlessly. And there was this bass player they had, and he could play, the radio come on and they could just play anything by ear. And I'm like, because I just started on my bass journey then. I was like, you know, boom, boom, boom. And these guys they're just musicians. It's in their blood. And I'm like, oh, wow. Effortless, you know. And they're like I say, 17, 18, same age. So it must be, I think the bass player was younger actually. I think he was actually doing his, what would have been then GCSEs. But Matthew was in my year. And yeah, we struck up a friendship. He was really nice. He was really very, very accommodating. We was talking about music and stuff and whatnot. And he went, do you want to go on the drums? And he let me have a go on a drum kit. And he went, you got the chops, man. You got it. Because I never played the drums before. So I'm just like, you know, and he was really nice. And I knew he'd do well. And afterwards, I remember when it was all over, he said, look, don't let those fuckers get you down, man. They're absolutely a bunch of fuckers. You know, they're no good. But anyway, one of them, the next time I saw him, one of these guys, he went on to do like the West End. He went on to be in like Starlight Express and whatnot. And then he went to be like the musical director of Praiseland or whatever. You know, one of these Jesus fun parks in America. Yeah, he's a like bona fide godbotherer. And he was just the worst person. He was the worst person in the world, truly. Treated girls terribly. He was just the last person I ever would find he'd find God. And then so it comes up, I'm like, oh, you know how like things intersect and people put, you go, I know that guy. So you starts, and he ends up, he made a video online, right, this fella, again, no names because legals and everything, and he ends up like kind of slandering his own father. Now his own father was a very successful businessman. He ended up getting like a road or something named after him in the area, and yeah. So that was the story. But the thing is musicians. That's the story. That's the story. Musicians. There are musicians, and then there's the rest of us who just plonk around. And proper musicians are an interesting breed, But yeah, musicians. That's the story. There you go. I think that's a story. I don't know if I told that one before. I might not have done. It's been a long time. There you go. This is for people who are members. Yes. Are you a member? Have you shown me your membership? Facebook. Who remembers Facebook? And I got an email from them the other day saying, Mr. Locke, we're getting rid of all your old live streams. In fact, we're getting rid of everybody's live streams, so you might want to download them. And I did the thing, and it gave me a big page of links of live streams, and there were a significant number of old Tuesday night live streams there, going back as far as 2017. So I downloaded the ones that were on there, and I've uploaded them onto the YouTube because they're gone there. They got fritzed, didn't they? And if you're a member, I will be dribbling them to you because there's about, I don't know, 40 of these things, covering, like I say, 2017 to early 2019, I think it is. Yeah. So yeah. So if you're a member, you'll get old live streams to look at. What value for money, eh? What value for money? It's like a repeat, but a repeat you've forgotten about, or you may never have seen in the first place. So don't say you don't get anything for your hard-earned cash here. But yeah, so yeah, that's it. Barfi says Nad Sylvain versus Steve Wilson in a fight. Who do you think had £1 on? The referee. Neither of them could fight their way out of a wet paper bag. However, Stephen Wilson, with his Israeli collection, because I'm sure he's probably learnt some moves from Mossad. Because Stephen Wilson, you've got to be careful what you say about him because people are trying to say he's a Zionist. He is, which makes him even more likeable. Actually, I'm beginning to want to chat now. So I reckon Wilson will suddenly pull out a Mossad move and break Nad Sylvain's neck. Probably with his thighs, his very weedy thighs. He will wrap his thighs around Nad Sylvain's neck and break it. He'll have his nutsack right on the back of Sylvain's neck. He'll feel that. That'll be the last thing he'll feel is Stephen Wilson's nutsack on the back of Nad's back. I should write this down. It's like comedy gold. Anyway. Harry says, you say that. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out which end of the base to blow down. Hey, that's my joke. That's my joke. You send £1 to the usual address, please. Harry, the great rock star. He is. He's in Asia. Don't you knock him. It takes a lot to learn those songs. And I'm playing with conviction. He does a good gig. Go his channel. He does lots of covers. Seriously, go. He does good cover versions. I do bad cover versions. See, there's the distinction. You see. He's He's yang to my yin. He's ming to my mong. He's ping to my pong. I think. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. Payne says, "Oh, I didn't watch the Severance video. Never heard of it. Don't care. We should care." It's about music, and about the music from the show. Severance deals with a lot of what they call liminal spaces, and the music is kind of liminal too. It's but again, it's more of a production side. My moan about it, I think I moaned about it last week, is whilst it's somebody noodling over some extended chords, it's the production that makes it what it is, because there's lots of reverb and reversed sound effects and things to add piquancy to the mix, to add atmosphere. And that's what makes it atmospheric. If you played these notes just plain, it sound like the cat walking on the piano. Yes. Payne says, "It's a bit of a wonder how some YouTubers think the general public can't find how to play courses that existed before they did." Yeah, but it's important because they did it, and if they did it, it has value. It's like Brian Eno doing that How to Write a Song course. You go on it because it's Brian Eno. Now, I do not want to write a song like Brian Eno. I want to write a song like Darren Locke. So I'm always a bit wary of people teaching you things, because you'll end up picking up their thing. No, there are teachers. You know what I'm saying? There are teachers, but teachers need to be kind of transparent. They don't put on their thing. So I'm running out of words here. They don't put on their stylistic ticks onto you. You want that's the mark of a good teacher. A good teacher will say, "This is the thing," whereas a bad teacher will try and get you to play like them. I think that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. That's why I'd be a bad teacher, because I'd just go, "Look, this is how I do it." So, Bar says, "Darren, do you like Martha and the Muffins?" Echo Beach, far away in time. Echo Beach, far away in time. Michael Brook did have something to do with them, didn't he? Back in the day. Rena says, "Darren's the real rock star here. Only in my deluded head, I'm afraid." Payne says, "I was subtly accused of plagiarism by an English teacher when we were told to write a poem. Prejudice and low expectations. Is this all your own work in red ink?" I had that. There was one time when I did actually plagiarise someone, but it was accidental. It was Douglas Adams. This is when I was about 11 or 12, and we was doing this kind of guide to the solar system. And I did the thing about, you think it's a long way to the shops bit, and it was in quotes, but I'd forgotten to written Douglas Adams at the bottom, and I got into a whole lot of heap of bother with that. But honest Gov, I did put it in quotes, but I just forgot to put his name on. But when I went on to big school, up to the next school, my English teacher was a big fan of my writing, and all the kids used to say, "You copy this, didn't you? You can't be that good." And it used to be a real I copied it. I used to go, "Yeah, I copied it. Can you find out where I copied it from? Because I need to write some more stuff. Have you got a good source for me?" So that that's what used to happen. But no, one bit of plagiarism I did accidentally, and I'm embarrassed to talk about it to this very day, because I stupidly left the quote off of it, and young. I was only about 11 or 12, I wasn't trying to pass it off. Honest, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But it was good, because the teacher did recognise where I got it from, which was really, really good. But yeah, it was meant to be my introduction. It was a quote about how big the universe is. But I've never plagiarised anything after that. No. Andrew says, "How mean? There's no justice." Do you know what? Hey, who's laughing now, eh? Look at me, here I am with an audience of 18, and that guy is the... Can I say what he is? Because that might give away who he is. He's some god botherer with a flock of some description, a sizable flock, a really big flock, and I've got 19 people. I reckon probably about 15 of those are soccer accounts, but you know, it's bums on seats, virtual bums on seats, virtual bums on virtual seats. Harry says, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a proper musician. I'd say I was just trying everything else and got lucky. No, you're a proper musician. I say you're a proper musician because proper musicians can play other people's music effortlessly. You know, they can do the thing. They can do it. That's what a proper musician is. You know, and there is a distinction. You know, you're somebody that could, you know, go in the orchestra pit. You know, I believe that seeing you play, I think you're a proper musician. You know, you're somebody who can, you know, do the thing. You know, as the old joke says, how do you stop a guitarist playing? You put sheet music in front of him. I used to be able to read music. That's the kicker. You know, when I was learning this, I could read sheet music, and then you pick up a guitar and it just goes out your ear like that. It's like, what am I doing now? You know, just insane. It's insane. Anyway, SB says, I see Roger Waters lost a court case with journalists who made that Dark Side of Waters documentary. I did not know that. Oh, thank you, SB. I did not know that because I've not been following Mr. Waters. Was there a court case? God, let me... Oh, is there a link? I'm going to have to look it up. Thank you for that. Oh, there's the next video. There's the next video. Roger Waters blocked me on Twitter. Court case. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it just broke. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks like the chickens are coming home to roost. All together now. Roger Waters defamed filmmaker with anti-Semitic remarks. It is now official. Davy Boyd Gilmore and his missus are romping. They are romping. They are literally rolling around, clapping their feet together at this. It is now demonstrably true, isn't it? What an absolute arsehole. He really is an arsehole, I think. And I'm working on it. And again, we shouldn't talk about people's... When I see him, I think he's suffering from some sort of late stage, you know, one of those dementia. I think he's got that. He kind of reminds me of... he reminds me of the missus's late grandmother, because she was a little bit, you know, she'd obsess about things. In her case, it wasn't the Jews. It was gardening gloves and a secateurs and some photos that she thought she'd lost, and she blamed a old friend of hers for it. Now you replace that with Jews. That's Roger Waters. That is. That's Roger Waters. Yeah, a London High Court has found that statements from Pink Floyd founder Roger Waters, accusing documentary filmmaker of cheerleading the genocide of Palestinians and acting as a Zionist mouthpiece during an Al Jazeera interview, are defamatory. Good. Justice Jennifer Eady on Tuesday concluded that Waters was making a statement of fact, blocking him from arguing that the assertions were intended to be his opinions. The ruling decided preliminary issues in the case, advances the lawsuit towards trial. Yes, the statements are defamatory of the claimant at common law, she wrote. Absolutely. He should know better. He should know better. Waters was sued last year by John Ware, who produced the documentary Dark Side of Roger Waters. Very good. Over comments he made on Al Jazeera's The Stream. The documentary explored allegations of anti-Semitism surrounding Waters. It features interviews with figures in his career, including Norbert Satchel, Waters' former saxophone player, and Bob Ezrin, who produced The Wall, among other things. And go and watch that. It is absolutely, his behaviour is absolutely bizarre. But yeah. Oh well. Then there's going to be a trial, so that advances it to. He's lost the first stage of it, and then they're going to go to trial. That should be interesting. And if he loses that, Bath says, is NAD short for gonad? It could be. I always say that when you're at a Steve Hackett gig, you should always shout loudly, vociferously, with passion and vim and vigour. You should always shout, "Go, Nad! Go, Nad! Go, Nad!" Look, he called me a see you next Tuesday on direct message on Facebook on my birthday. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. All because I said he looked like his own grandmother. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. He does look like his own grandmother. Isn't it? Payne says, he's whitely to your slightly. Twice nightly. Miner says, labelling ourselves as musicians always makes us forget ourselves that we can do whatever we want, remembering always to be grounded. Well, I really am. I'm more of a loafer, you know. And what I want, and again, it's a big ask, because I don't think I get the recognition I deserve. Right? I want a blue plaque. And I want a blue plaque on this place. Darren Lock loafed here, 2014 to my demise. When's that going to be? 2026. Loafed here. And then you could put one on. Did some good loafing. Back there. There could be a series of these plaques where I've loafed. Maybe there's a bench. There was a bench at Leighton that I used to sit on and watch the cars go past. Darren Lock did some good loafing here in the early 90s. That's what I want. That's what I want. Permanent vacation it's been. Where are we? Andrew says, that's my regret. I didn't learn to sight read as I played by ear. I played by my feet. Yeah. My ears are just, my ears are shot. So my feet and my knees. God, my knees. Oh, pain. The pain. Oh, I'm just plonking around. I'm still learning. That's the thing about guitar, is you never stop learning. You never stop learning. Payne says, I've just subscribed to Harry, so I'll check out his next the next chance I get. And Harry says, thank you. I think a new video just went up. See? Go and subscribe. Go and watch him. He does all the tunes. He even does requests. He does bar mitzvahs, christenings, chicken in a basket. He's your man. He's your man. He'll even put on the glittery tuxedo, and the bow tie. He'll do anything. He'll do anything for music. The spirit of music has entered into him. He's a vessel. He's a throbbing vessel for music. You should have that as your tagline: a throbbing vessel for music. Hey, look, I could have worked in advertising. I could have done. I didn't know. They wouldn't have me. Barthy says, what do you think of the ceasefire on Gaza? Has Trump done what Biden failed to do? Trump just wants money. He sees everything as a business opportunity. And that's why he's convinced Zelensky to give up all his mineral resources to America. Because, hey, this is where you start paying, said Trump. Not in sweat, in minerals. What do I think about it? I think about, look, if he can bring about peace by any means necessary, and if he can profit out of it, then he's the smartest man in all of fucking Toy Town, isn't he? Not only does he stop people dying, he makes a profit. Now that's genius. And again, as someone who's a militant atheist, I have no skin in that war. Though I'm going to side with Israel because they're not going to cut my head off for being an unbeliever, Whereas Hamas, unless I convert, could be a bit choppy, couldn't it? So you know, they're all as bad as one another when it comes to these religious wars. And if you have religion, Mr. Payne he's one of those God botherer people, and that's nice. If you got faith, you got to have faith, faith, faith. Ooh, ooh, that's great. But you know, I've caused a lot of wars and a lot of people to die, and that's not a nice thing. So, but the architecture, the architecture. We'll always have the architecture and the hymns. So there's always a silver lining. Look, I don't want war. No, we should. This is the 21st century, right? And we should be over that shit. And I propose a new way of dealing with conflicts: is we get the leaders, the prime ministers, you know, the leaders of the country, the presidents, and we get them in a ring and we get them to fight instead of sending our lads off to war. If people said no, I'm not fighting. Fuck it. You know, they'd have to shoot. It's just that you're going to get blown up anyway. And so what we do is we make the leaders get in a ring and duke it out. I want to see Zelensky versus Putin. Oh, I want to see that. I'll tell you, Putin's face is coming off because Zelensky's going to bite it off, right? I want to see Trump up against who's leading Hamas these days. Who's the guy whose balls wasn't blown off by Mossad and the exploding pages? I want to see them in the ring together. I think Trump could duke him out. He's a bit of a heavyweight, isn't he? And he's something like 6'4", long reach. That man, long reach. They have to put somebody in there who's taller, you know. And you know, he could also get his son to step in for him, who's something like 6'8". He's like, what? He's a giant. What? So yeah, look, just peace, innit? But just imagine at the end of Trump's term in 2035 or whenever it's going to be, when he dies, because he would sign a declaration that he is the forever president. He turns himself into a monarch. They'll look back and they go, bloody hell, what a riot, what an absolute riot. He brought peace to the world. What an absolute toe rag. That's what the left will say. Hey. Pacey's loafy. Could be an Abraham for you. I was watching, there's a really good video from Reverb. Has anyone heard of Reverb? They're like eBay, but for musicians. Trying to sell stuff on Reverb is like trying to shit a golden egg. It really is. It's really difficult. But every so often they put an interesting video out, and they had St. Vincent. I don't know if you know her. She's a female artiste, and she was showing all the equipment she's got and how much you can get it for. And Reverb is one of those kind of things. But I was sitting there drinking my cup of tea, watching her talking about her gear, and she said, and she was just demonstrating, and said, "That's how you do, and that's how you record." She said, and yeah, that's how you record. Was it more music that nobody wants to hear? And I nearly spat a plume, an arching plume of tea. I nearly like that, because that was a possible title for my next collection, which is, it's kind of almost, I don't know if it's done. I keep kicking it around. It's kind of, I'm trying to find a shape of it, and there's no shape. I've got so many bits of music, and I don't know what to do with it. But that's what I was going to call it: more music that nobody wants to hear. And I might go with it. I might stick with that now. The alternative album title is "Old Man, Shouts at Cloud." Yeah, that was the other option. But I think that one's probably a bit more. I think people might understand that one a bit better. That one's a bit obscure Simpsons reference, isn't it? So, Harry says, "Orifice waiting to be filled musically." All that. That sounds a bit worse. Payne says, "I'm the type that gets martyred by others. For example, the 70 killed in the Congo recently. Wasn't on the main news." Well, you wouldn't, because you've got to be the flavour of the month, and you're not the flavour of the month at the moment. You see, you're following the wrong one. You know, if you were following the other one, Alan. If you were following Alan, everything would be fine. But let's all of us Let us us believers and us heathens all get along. Let's all get along, eh? All get along. What would you do? What would you do if God was real, right? And he came down, right? And he went, "You're doing it all wrong. I'm going to bang all your fucking heads together, all of you. You're doing it wrong. I'm really pissed off with a lot of you." Right? What would you do then? And he said, "No, that wasn't my message. That wasn't my message at all. My message was for all of you to get along and to care for each other. And look what you've done." Ugh. How would all the religious leaders, because God would appear to each one as that, how would they all feel about that? Imagine that, and being berated by their own God, because that's what should happen. That's what should really happen. If there was a God, he should come down and knock their bloody heads together. Anyway, where are we? Andrew says, reminds me of that Two Tribes video by Frankie. Two tribes go to war. Love that song. Starts with a nuclear air raid siren. As I say to my daughter, that's what we had to grow up with in the 80s. If it wasn't nuclear war, it was AIDS. Didn't hear us complaining, because we were too busy dancing to Wham and Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Yeah, because we don't care. We're the generation that's dead inside. Oh yeah. Rennie says, great song. Payne says, the woman of St Vincent seems to be quite realistic about the industry. Oh yeah, she's got her head screwed on. She's interested in what she does. It's all right. I've always said in the last, oh God, how long has it been now? 10 years? Yeah, call it 10 years. Over the last decade, the real interesting people making music are the women. It's the women that are doing the really interesting music. Men are just kind of gone off the boil. But yeah, it's the female artists that have kind of grown and shone. And I think St Vincent's interesting. She did stuff with David Byrne. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was a funny comment which kind of chimed in with what I was thinking. It was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to call it. And I think, I better use it before she does. I thought, I better get in quickly. I better get in there, Andrew says, love, relax, indeed. And Payne says, yeah, let's just be nice to each other. Indeed. There's a song, the last song on my new collection is called Live and Let Love. And it's all about us all getting on. All of us together. The rest of the album is all about how much I hate everybody. So I thought I better sweeten the pill at the end. And we do this kind of by the campfire, beads in our hair. You have to use your imagination. And yeah, so it's going to be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be brilliant. I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. I think people are going to just point and laugh at it and go, Darren, what's wrong with you? You spent like 20 minutes berating the world. You can't do this. You can't about turn. You can't reverse ferret at the last hurdle. But it's like, yeah, why can't we all just get along? Has anyone ever asked that? Oh yeah, that bloke called Jesus, and what did they do to him? Oh yeah, nailed him to a cross. Hey guys, why can't we just get along? Renee says God is a DJ. I think he's just dropped an ecstasy pill. Payne says nuclear war, minor straight A's, shoulder pads, are the 80s. That's a Billy Joel lyric you just quoted there, isn't it? And Andrew says Renee is that faithless. And Robert adds life is a dance floor. Man, it's all kicking off in the chat now. Everyone's got the glitter ball has descended from the sky, and everyone's just they've stripped to their t-shirts and they're dancing like Ncuti Gatwa in Doctor Who in his first episode. And yeah, everyone's just getting on. I'm gonna have to do a video about Roger Waters now and his court case. Thanks. Who are you? Who was it again? Oh God, I've lost the name. SB. Thanks, SB, for the tip. I did not know that was going on. That completely passed me by. But then I don't have Roger Waters in the front of my mind. Ever since the Redux album, I've kind of gone, over there. Over there, Roger. Get over there. Go. Mind you, if again, I might see that in a couple of days' time on Facebook, because you know what their Facebook algorithm's like. It's like talking to your geriatric grandmother in the old folks home, and she starts going on about World War II. That's Facebook, that is. Payne says, I didn't start the 80s. Simon's in. And we've got another musician in. He says, hi Darren. Sorry I've missed the live streams recently. Well, that's all right. You get a special, because we're doing religion, and you get a special. You are blessed, my son, because he's in Australia land. He's upside down at the moment. He's wearing a hat with corks on the end, with a tinny. Is that right, tinny? By the barbecue, with a koala bear at his feet. Wait a minute. Is it a wallaby or a kangaroo? I can't tell. But there might be a dangerous spider crawling up his leg. Is it a funnel? Is it a funnel spider? We'll never know. I can't see that. That's too far away. I can't see. What's that? We just alienate the Australians? Doesn't matter. Rene says, no XTC, Darren. Just nice Scottish single malt. Okay. Barfy says, why are the UK seaside so run down and full of fighty, spotty blokes with ankle cuff tracksuit bottoms? Is it because it's the seaside? It's always been like that. It's because they're seasonal. Well, again, nobody goes to the seaside anymore. I don't know. I don't live at the seaside. I'd like to, because that's where the properties are cheaper. I'm going to move to Jaywick. Yeah, I'm going to be a slum landlord in Jaywick, because if I sold this place, I could buy 3 hovels in Jaywick. I could live in one of them. I could rent 2 out, and I could be a slum landlord. And that'd be it. That'd be it for me. I'd have peaked. I'd have reached my zenith. Simon says, hopes well. Yeah. Well, apart from my knee, because I fell over last week on an escalator last Tuesday, and I didn't talk about it last week on the live stream because I was being a big grown-up boy and I was trying to get over it. But now I can talk about it because, Love the Lamb mix remastered comparison. The remix was everybody liked that video because I don't get paid for it, so everybody watched it. It's like, oh, that's great. That's just fucking marvellous. Well, fuck you. Fuck a lot of you. So I'll probably be doing more of them now. I'm just going to make money flipping guitars on eBay. Just going to do that. Fuck YouTube. Payne asked, does the Vatican note you're offering indulgences while the Pope isn't available? Well, what I heard, right, he had trouble with his breathing, right, and they had to take him to hospital to have an operation to remove a small boy from his face. Yes, small boy sitting on his face. That's why he had trouble breathing. But they're not going to let you know that. They're not going to let you know that. No, not going to. No. He may have been a choir boy. I said choir boy. But yeah, there you go. You heard it here first. Simon says, exactly, Wallaby. Exactly. Andrew says, St Ives is very nice and not run down. Exactly. He's in the posh part. Go down there. Payne says, you could be a slum landlord and achieve peak Rigsby. Ooh, Miss Jones. Yeah. I don't know about Jaywick though. It's a bit of a. That's what I threaten the kids with, to inspire them to do well. If you don't get your exams, we're moving to Jaywick. Hey look, it works. It works. Diverty wants to move to Jaywick. It's like that time I punished her with a cream cracker and a glass of water. So if you don't behave yourself, my girl, you will not get a biscuit and a cup of tea. You're going to get a cream cracker and a glass of water. And she played up. So she got a cream cracker and a glass of water, and she went, this is nice. And my mum, she was still alive and living with us at that point, she looked at me and went, that didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, did it? And I went, no, it didn't. And very enjoyed her cream cracker and glass of water. So there you go. Simon says, I remember confession every Sunday growing up, making sins. It must be very hard. After wanking, what is it, murder? Yeah, genocide? I mean, how does it go? I mean, is there a like level of sins, you know? No? I don't know. Barthy says, I'm in Portsmouth and I want to swim away. Well, you'd think they'd do like dinghy service back over to France, wouldn't you? You'd think there'd be like a return service on the dinghies to France. You'd think, but you know. Payne says, I'm not a Catholic, and from what I've read, neither is the Pope. Who remembers those? Who would you remember those T-shirts with John Paul II? I like the Pope because the Pope smokes dope. Do you remember those T-shirts? I used to love those T-shirts. Who remembers the Pope on a rope soap for in the shower that was shaped in the shape of John Paul II? You just don't get that love for the new popes. John Paul, he was like, do you know why he was so popular? Because he was named after two of the Beatles. Now they're gonna have to do a new one. The next pope's gonna have to be George Ringo, Pope George Ringo, to be anywhere near as good as John Paul II, Pope John Paul. I'm getting dry. I'm getting dry in me. There's nothing. There's no liquids to sustain me. Spike Milliken included Portsmouth in his Room 101 choices. Leaf blowers. That's one of my big ones. Leaf blowers. People who park on the pavement. I've got so many. Simon says murder was just a walk-up start. Say a few prayers and you'll be fine. You can just walk it off. Just walk up a few Hail Marys. You'll be fine. Do you have your rosary? Did you have to do your rosary? Yeah. Great. Payne says Portsmouth, there's a slogan once saying how it had many French restaurants, only hours away by ferry. Yeah. I used to like, was it the one from Skegness? It's bracing, they'd say, because it being on the North Sea. Skegness, it's bracing. It surely is. Barthy says, do you know why Stephen Wilson couldn't be Pope? He'd refused to wear the slippers. And he's a friend of Israel, too. Hey, I'm just letting you join the dots. Dear. He's got a new album coming out next month. Remember that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be the best album since the last one. Oh yeah. It's going to be great. How are we doing? Is everyone all right? Is it going to be quiet? It's like we had a bit of activity, and now I've seen the time. It's like it's that the overview indeed. It's gone past midnight, and that's where everyone starts to kind of jam up. Renee asked, did I get some nice plugins lately? No, I've not. No, I haven't. No. I've got a couple of guitars coming, but they're purely to review and flip. I'm not keeping them. Oh, so that's about it really. Like I say, I get stuff in, I clean them up, fix them up, and I sell them on, and I make a couple of quid. Well, I hope to make a couple of quid. It's a fine art these days because the second-hand guitar market is a little bit tempestuous, but you know, I've got a good hit rate. Payne says Anne Clark just wanted to mention something. No, that's right, no, Anne. Although she should be supported by the Grenadines, like those islands. Barthy says, I wish Stephen Wilson would go back to his psychedelic tinged Britpop of the mid to late 90s Porcupine Tree. At least that was interesting. Yeah, he couldn't get arrested back then, could he? His new solo stuff is sterile. Well, and like I said, he couldn't get arrested back then. Some of us remember the 90s. And this is why all the legacy acts have sold their copyright, because it's over. It's game over, man. It's game over. And so AI is going to rule the world, and they've released a silent album. Kate Bush, among others, something because of AI, because AI can't copy silence. I'm sure it could if you taught it to. I didn't quite get the logic of it, but hey, you know, that's what turns them on. It's too late. It's done. I wrote a song about it. You might like it. It's called Post-Cultural Blues. It's very good. It's a belter. It's a belter. You're going to love it. It's a great one. You're going to love that song. The lyrics are good. Lyrics are good. Payne says, I'm sure I've heard the Silent album. Well, 4 minutes 33 by John Cage is, you know. Anne Clark, the depressive artist. I like her. Says Renee. Harry says, I hope it's not over, haha. Let me have a couple of tours first. Oh, as long as there are Asia fans still with a pulse, even when they've not got a pulse, you can bet that you will be playing to them. It's only worrying when you're playing old folks' homes and you're on after the bingo. And it's that you ain't long off that, mate. You ain't long off that. Those Asia fans, they're not getting any younger. They're not getting any younger. Enjoy the silence, indeed. T-Dog says, what do you think about this silent single AI protest? I was just talking about it, T-Dog. What I think about it, I don't get it. Well, I get it, but I don't get why you'd do a silent album. It's like, okay. Look, the government's going to do what the government's going to do. It doesn't give a fuck about anyone or anything, because they promised our gas bills would go down, our gas and electricity bills would go down, and they're going up again. That's nice. Even the rotten Tories used to give us a backhand, you know, to say, look, here you go. We know it's tough, but here's a backhand. But these guys, no, nothing from them. And the water bills have gone up too, and I can't even change my supply for that because, you're supposed to get choice, but it's actually an effective monopoly. I've got to that point in my life, again, where I'm just, with everything is wrong. Everything is broken and everything is wrong. And I'm tired of it. And I don't want to give them my money anymore, you know, or our money, the family money, the family budget that I preside over. I don't want to give these people. I don't deserve it, you know. And so the AI issue is just going to if the government, whichever government, I think they're just going to sell it off to the highest bidder, and they're going to turn it around and say, well, it's good for the economy. The AI industry in the UK, we are at the forefront of AI technology, and they'll soap it up and wax it up that way. The genie is already out of the bottle, right? The genie is already out of the bottle. It's already done. And when you've got people like Peter Gabriel, who frankly should know better, who, if I could get hold of him, I'd Eric Morecambe his little chops, and I'd say to him, Petey, what the do you think you're doing? Keep promoting this AI on your social media. This isn't art. AI art is the death of art, right? And it's annoying me now. It's that thing. Early on it was kind of interesting. You go, this is interesting, and it's good if you want to generate a background. Because I use it. I've used it. If you want to generate a wallpaper or a something kind of really innocuous, a pattern. If you want to create a pattern for an album sleeve, great. It's really good for that. If you want to, my knee. If you want to use it for that, it can be useful. It can be useful to create patterns and things that you can use. And that sounds like a shit example, but trust me, it's good for certain things. But when you start getting it to do art, one, it looks like AI, unless you use it really subtly. You know, you've got to be really clever. I mean, I did an AI one. I've done a couple of AI ones, haven't I? Yeah, I did one for fragments. I'm going to talk. This is boring. I'm talking about me again, but you'll get. It's fine. Oh, yeah, of course I can. I can show it here. Of course, accept it. Oh, Darren Locke, accept it. You see, look. See, this one is. This one was AI. I did that because I didn't want to break a mirror. Right? I could have broke a mirror, and because I wanted something where there were bits of mirror. And what I was going to do is I was actually going to put my face in the bits of mirror, but then I decided not to because I thought that was a bit. I thought no, but I created one of those infinite repeating patterns. I've always wanted to do that after reading *The Mouse and His Child* by Russell Hoban. Oh, literary reference there. And so I've always been fascinated in those repeating patterns, and so I created that. Again, the middle bit where it repeats didn't exist. That was another mirror, but I used my amazing art skills to. So here, I think this is fair because again, it does a good carpet. Look at the carpet. The carpet looks like the brown carpet that we've got, which is pretty good, and it looks like a mirror has been broken. I'm not going to upset anyone with that. No artist is going to think, damn, he put me out of business, you know, because I was going to break a mirror. That's one I've done, which uses AI. Oh crap, where's the other one? I'll have to find it. That one I'm going to have to go into my archive. Oh, what how pretentious, an archive. And that was, where is it? Here we go. It was the this is the Father Progmus single that I released. And what I wanted here was I actually put in Roger Dean style thing with Father Christmas walking away. As you can see, it looks a bit odd, and Father Christmas has got a tentacle for an arm, but it looks kind of right Roger Dean, doesn't it? And I added the lettering myself, trying to find like a kind of a proggy kind of font, but you know, and that's down. That's twice. Do you think Roger Dean got Roger Waters on the brain now? Imagine having Roger Waters on the brain. That's hydrocephalitis. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. What was I talking about? AI. Oh God! Come on, Darren. AI. So I think AI is good in certain things if you're not stealing other people's artwork. But I've shown you two examples there. One, I'm not stealing anyone's artwork because I asked for a broken mirror, you know, with fragments of the mirror in a spiral. That's what I got. And then the other one was, like I said, was aping Roger Dean. That's because I couldn't afford to get Roger Dean to do it for me. You know, if I could, I would, but I can't. So there you go. You know, so I think it's good for certain things, and I think it's very good. You know, in terms of like, if you've got, again, I think it's going to be pretty useful for like animation. You know, for filling in frames. You know, so you've got a keyframe and another keyframe, and you can get AI to kind of fill in. It's going to speed up animation no end. So I think there are good applications to AI art. AI stem separation. I think that could be amazing. Like I said, you get an old recording from the 1920s and you feed it into algorithm and it pulls everything apart and it cleans it up and it creates a whole new sonic environment that makes you sound like you're actually there in the 1920s. That will happen one day, and that will be amazing. Its ability to, you know, bring music back that we've never heard. You know, I mean, you could even extend it further. You know, you could go to, you could say, what would this classical piece, what would it have sounded like at the time of Beethoven in this specific hall, you know, with these specific players and with this specific interpretation, and feed it all in. Amazing. You could do amazing things with it. But then there's great destructive power to it too. And you already can create movies using AI. You know, I've seen examples of actual like short movies being made wholly in AI, and it's only because some of the framing looks a bit weird. But you know the way it's cut, so fast cut, good soundtrack. You go, is that real? And it's just going to get better and better and better and better. Where are we? Simon says, so the Chinese warships are 250 kilometres over Tasmanian coast at the moment, right down under. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. That'll be fine. They're after, aren't the Chinese after Taiwan? That's the real thing. Simon also adds, they won't like the red, black spiders and brown snakes. It'll be good night Noreen, I'm afraid, for any invaders. Well, again, everything in Australia wants to kill you, isn't it? Harry says, I mean, I've done the God's waiting room circuit, and Asia does seem a lower demographic so far. At least it's a Benjamin Button direction so far. Well, that's good. It's good that people are getting younger, you know. It's good. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. And that's the thing about live music. There'll always be live music, I think, until they can get AI to do it. And do holograms. Just think holographic Harry Whiteley. Pretend to be somebody else in a cover band. That'll be the next thing. Where even the cover bands will have cover bands of holograms. Holograms of cover bands with rubber bands at Canberra Sands. Payne says good night, good night. And Ranny says, I don't like Asia, sorry. Let's look. As the great Faith No More once sung, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Barthy says, bit racist. And he said that, like Ricky Gervais, as David Brent in The Office. Andrew says, fragments work well. Well, it did, because it was, like I said, if you work with abstract imagery, I mean, it's really good at doing patterns. And I was messing around with something the other day. Again, I'm guilty of it, because I was looking at trying to do some kind of screensavery type thing for instrumental pieces, you know. So I upload something to YouTube. I wanted something kind of bubbling in the background, you know, rather than it be reactive, just something that I can, you know, some sort of colours bubbling, like paint bubbling. I think that's what I put in, and it did this thing it did 5 seconds of paint bubbling, and I thought that's good. But then I only had 5 seconds of it, and I needed like 4 minutes of, and you know, it's like, oh. So I think it's good at doing abstract. I think abstract imagery and abstract lava lamp kind of effects, I think you can get away with that. But when it starts mimicking human art, I think that's where it needs to be clearly labelled. There needs to be proper rules. This is AI, and here is its sources. This is where it's scraped the data from. And if it's scraped the data from anyone, you know. And now again, I got this email twice last week from a company that have risen out of the ashes of one of those multi-channel networks that used to go around filleting YouTubers for their channels. They never filleted me. It's not for want of trying. But sorry, I was thinking about something else. But yeah, they've turned themselves into this AI kind. We will license your scrapers, your scrapings, or something. I didn't understand it, but they're going to license you if an AI doobie scrapes you, they will get payment on your behalf and keep about 80% of it, I think. And I thought, okay, one, no, and two, hell no. But that's the new thing in town, is these people, these ambulance chasers, trying to separate you from any royalty you're going to get. And there were big numbers. They were naming big numbers because that's what they do. I was going to reply and I was going to say, yeah, pay me up front, eh? Give me that $150,000 that you had just mentioned in your text up front in a nice fat check, and we'll talk. But I don't think it works like that. Harry says, I'll say good night now. Pleasure as always. Take care. You too. And stay inspired. Barfi says, David Brent was brilliant, man. Ricky Gervais really fell off when he moved to America. He didn't move to America. He stayed in the UK. He just did some movies in America. Saying sucked the joy out of the man. No, his stand-up's still pretty funny. It's all the atheist stuff. But he's always been militantly atheist. He's never stopped. He always was. That has never changed. You obviously never saw his early stand-up. So yeah, there's this AI. This AI thing is a problem, because if your stuff's out there, if it's out there, there's nothing to stop the AI scrapers scraping you. You know, so the cat is always is out the bag, well and truly out the bag. You know, so. Oh dear, I think it's a little bit too late. You know, you should have seen this coming. But I don't think anybody really did. I think they thought AI was going to be this, you know, amazing thing. I didn't think they thought it was going to do, or at least formulate art the way that it does, i.e. looking at loads of examples and kind of squidging them together. You know. Oh, but yeah. I don't know. Oh, I don't think there's any time to do my film review this week. Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame, isn't it? Ain't that a shame? Renee says, I bought the latest Dream Theatre CD art book, and you know what? All the very nice photos are AI. Are they? Oh dear. I wonder what they said. Could you make an album that looks like a Dream Theatre album? It just spewed out a load of crap. Barfi says, I'm going to get the Overcraft to the Isle of Wight, but it's not that bad, is it? It's not that bad. The Isle of Wight, which is that is God's waiting room, isn't it? And if you want some, what did you say about people with the socks tucked into? Was it the leggings tucked into their socks, the joggers? Did you say that? There's plenty of them on the Isle of Wight. Bit iffy there, mate. Bit iffy on the old Isle of Wight. But anyway, another one bites the dust. And Andrew says, will AI see the Beatles get back together like ABBA? Well, no, you will see the Beatles and ABBA have offspring. You'll see Be-ABBA, where ABBA does the Beatles in the style of ABBA. You would be able to do that with AI. As I described it, and do you know what? That Stephen Wilson described exactly the same thing, which got me to think that maybe we do kind of think alike. But there will be a subscription service where you will be able to type in, I want a song that sounds a bit like David Bowie, but has the kind of, with an AC/DC kind of feel. You can basically you'll be able to get it to generate any kind of crossover. And I want it to be a love song, and it uses my name, and I want you to generate, 20 minutes of this stuff, and you'll be able to subscribe to that and listen to whatever you ask it to generate. And you will never have to listen to another proper song again, because it will just spew out whatever you want. So you can imagine people are saying, oh yeah, I want a Genesis song that sounds like Peter Gabriel Never Left, but you've got Steve Hackett and Anthony Phillips there, and maybe we'll have Phil Collins and Bill Bruford on drums. And I want it to sound like the Nursery Crime album, and I want it to be like Victorian nightmare, about a kid called Gerald, whose socks are haunted by the ghost of Winston Churchill. And then it will just throw up a whole 20-minute epic about that. And you'll nod along and you go, this is really good. And that'll be the subscription. You'll subscribe to that, and you'll be able to keep, whatever it is you like, or it will just evaporate once you're done with it. Maybe it's only alive for 24 hours. I don't know. That might be the rules of the AI engagement, is we can only generate this stuff for 24 hours. It's going to be like that. Simon says, I agree totally with the AI. It's taste scary, and yeah, too late. Look after your knee. I'm off to church to get close to the Pope. Look, don't get too close, because you know what they're like. They'll take advantage. They will. And if he says you want to see what's under his cassock, just say no. Just say no, kids. Just say no. They've got some dirty habits in the church. That's just the nuns. Renee says, wow, it's late already. I'm going. Thanks for the chat and good night. Good night to everyone. Shall we bring everything to a close, because I'm getting a bit dry. It's been an hour and 26 minutes I've babbled on for, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, I don't know what to say. I don't know why you're here. Why would you be here? Or maybe you're here just to register your displeasure at me, like you do every week. And guess what? I don't care. It amuses me. It really does. It's time for bed. Anyway, I'm gonna pop off now. Hopefully that was fun. Like I said, if you are a subscriber, there will be loads of old this in the members section of the subscription feed, and some other bits and bobs that I found on Facebook, because Facebook are getting rid of all the live streams, so I've had to download my live streams. I don't know why. And you'll be able to view them, like old repeats, old memories from 2017. I think I got something from 2015 as well in there somewhere. Oh yeah, it was one of the very first coffee time things, when it was called Worldwide Weird. I think I only did one of them, but it kind of evolved into coffee time. So there you go. That's in the members section. So you can join, I think, for a quid a month, and you get my delightful content piped into your eye sockets, whether you like it or not, and it helps keep the lights on. I'm not going to be like one of these YouTubers who's going to flog you something you don't want. I'm not. I wouldn't do that. You know me. I'm a good lad. I wouldn't. What's that? Oh, and everyone's saying goodbye. I wouldn't force that on you. I wouldn't say, look. I wouldn't say buy something you don't want, but yeah, again, if you want to buy something you don't want, go to elasticstage.com/lock, where you can buy my music, or you can go to my Bandcamp page, which is music at darrenlock.com. It works now after my previous. Or you can go there and fill your boots. You can go and listen to it for free there. Because I'm not like the others. I'm not going to try and sell you something unless you want it. There, if you go to the Bandcamp, music.darrenlock.com, you can listen to all the music for free first, and then you can buy something if you want. You don't have to. I don't care. You don't care. I'm not gonna ponce off you. But if you do want to support me, there are options there. We'll keep it at that. But I can only. Yeah, I think that's the fair way to go. So anyway. My knee's giving me jip because I should really put it up for a bit, and we'll do this all again. Oh God, I've lost the control. Wait a minute, where's the panel? I nearly did the thing then. I didn't have it ready. Oh, I'm only 40 seconds away from 1 hour and a half, 1 hour 30 minutes. I was going to do a review of Renfield, which I watched, but I've run out of time, so I'll have to do that next time. Anyway. What's that? Somebody wants to do an Elon Musk salute. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I think that's how you do it. Wave. Dear. Context is key and king in everything. Remember that. Yeah, anyway. If you've enjoyed this, great. If you haven't, take care. take care out there. It's a weird place. Remember, if you can't be good, be safe. But more importantly, don't tell your mother. Night night.